Hi, my name's Rebecca, and I decided to start a YouTube channel about the basics of sewing. I've been sewing for a little over 10 years, and it truly is my passion. Something that I was really missing when I started sewing was somebody to give me the basics. And right now I have several friends who are trying to figure out their sewing machines, and they call me with questions, and they're really intimidated. And they don't have anybody besides me, who will give them the basics from the very beginning. So the first video of this series of the basics of sewing is going to be about the tools that you will need to start sewing to have everything work together smoothly. So you don't have to be running out to the store or needing something. So here's the basic tools that I recommend that you have. First of all, we have, you'll need a pin cushion with pins, some thread. It can just be some regular all-purpose thread. And then we have, this is a really great thing that I really do recommend to new sewers. It is a self-healing measured mat. And when you cut on it, it self-heals, so you can cut many times. And speaking of cutting, this is a rotary cutter. It has a blade that pops out, and you just go over your fabric really quickly, and that way you can cut a straight line very easily without using scissors. In order to cut a straight line, I recommend getting, just really need one different kind of ruler, but there's many different kinds at the fabric store. This is just a long one that is really good for cutting straight lines. And then here, if you're gonna be doing a lot of quilting, is a square ruler. It has, I believe it's a 6-inch square in the middle and then a 12-inch on the outside. So it would be really easy to make those kind of cuts. But you really only need one ruler to begin with. We need a couple of good pairs of scissors. I have here my left-handed, I'm left-handed, so I was excited when my husband found me a left-handed pair of sewing scissors from Fiskars, and this is just a regular right-handed pair. You need to be aware that sewing scissors are used only for fabric. So keep them up, away from the children, and remember that yourself, that you don't use them with paper because you don't want them to be dulled. I also recommend just getting a few scraps of fabric. And as you begin sewing more and more and trying new techniques and things, you will develop quite a fabric stash. But at first, I didn't have a lot of fabric when I was beginning. So you get the fabric at really cheaply at Hobby Lobby, at Hancock Fabrics or Joann Fabrics. And then lastly, I recommend a sewing machine. When I first began sewing, I had a Sears and Roebuck sewing machine from 1979, and that served the purposes very well. Since then, I've upgraded a little bit. This is a Brother machine. It has an LCD screen right here, and it has lots of different stitches that you can see here on the side that you can use. But it is not necessary to have a machine like this. Everything that I do can pretty much be done with a regular sewing machine. It has different capabilities for different feet that you can put on it. This is the foot of the sewing machine. And it will come with different accessories when you purchase your machine. If you look on Craigslist, sometimes you will find machines there, garage sales, if you're not willing to spend the big bucks to get a machine. But even a machine like this only cost me about, I believe it was $180 total from Amazon. So it really was a great deal for a sewing machine. Now with your machine will come several different accessories. Here's my accessories bag, and I always keep it ready. In my accessories bag, I have something that's very important for a beginning sewer, and that is a seam ripper. They're very cheap, but this will be one of the best tools that you will use when you're sewing, because unfortunately we learn by making mistakes. So when we do make mistakes, you can just rip out your mistakes fairly easily. I'm not going to go through all the accessories today, but several will come with your machine. There could be buttonholers, zipper foots, several different needles. So these things I just keep together. Additionally, there will be some bobbins that come with your machine. Here's what a bobbin looks like. For my machine, they're plastic. There's also metal bobbins, but bobbin goes in the bottom of your machine here. And then the thread gets threaded through the top of the machine. So this is when you are looking at a piece of fabric that has been sewn. There is a top stitch and a bottom stitch. The thread on top is for the top stitch. The bobbin is the bottom stitch. And so you have to have both of them correctly lined. And as I do other videos, I'll be talking about threading and things like that. The last tool that I feel is very important for any beginning sewer or any sewer at all is a ironing board. I keep a water bottle right on my ironing board, because when you have your fabric, and sometimes if you take it right out of the dryer because you've washed it or something, the wrinkles are very difficult to get out even with a steamer. But I recommend an iron that does have a steam capability with different level settings here, and you can add water to it because it just will help you so much more. There's lots of different accessories that people will tell you that you will need when you begin to sew, but really that's about it. I like to keep everything out just right there so that I can grab it as I sew. And then any of the other accessories like buttons or different feet for my machine and things like that, I will pick up as I'm going on a project. Well, thank you for visiting my YouTube channel. And it's a new venture for me. I'm very excited about it. So if you have any sewing questions, anything you'd like me to address in any future videos, please just let me know. And make sure that you visit my website. It is www.bekkylynn, BEKKIELYNN.etsy.com. Also, make sure you like RL Designs on Facebook. Thank you.